Hi everyone, this is Dave Cloutier, faculty in FYE and in drawing. Michelle LaPerriere and I have been discussing and developing some ideas for envisioning online classes with workshops and studio practices. Normally in-person group work with our first year students fosters the development of sustained practice and focus. Our new virtual classrooms must also provide shared space, afford real-time mutual engagement in mediums, tools, research, elegant problems, and extended discussions and critiques, vital for students developing the mature habits of sustained and focused practice necessary for their majors and careers. In this model, workshop practice is envisioned as real-time shared pod group experience. Students in pods or small groups work while connected on Zoom for the scheduled times of the workshop. Work is periodically shared via screen share to the pod for ongoing dialogue through images and voice. So here's the Zoom pod event. So the pod is running in the studio space here. Work is shared to the Zoom gallery, which is kind of the locus of discussion and social interaction. And that the work being shared to the screen surface, not necessarily shared through the Zoom screen, but the surface is relational to a gallery space. This also includes 3D videos. How do we help students to create focused workspaces and practices while connected through Zoom, but physically separate? I would like to focus first on the idea of placemaking as the vessel for sustained focus and practice. This can be imagined as a specific space, time, or practice students create to engage in during workshops and independent work. An example of placemaking, a placemaking assignment might be a drawing still life assignment, which includes creating an architectural space for the objects of the still life to inhabit. So here's kind of a idea of objects, materials here and mediums, and then engaging in this kind of space, this kind of architectural space. This is very different than the idea of having a still life on a table without any surrounding information, so that the vessel of the architecture where the objects live is part of establishing a workspace or a vessel. Sketchbook can also be used in this way as well. The created architecture is the environment for the objects to be drawn in, but also more importantly, it affords a specific focus of attention, a vessel both solid and malleable to the student's needs and ambitions. For a first-year student working and setting up to draw on their own, the addition of an architectural element creates the structure needed to develop sustained focus. The Zoom screen is the social element of shared thought and image. The assignment's forms and mediums are the concretized classroom space. So it's kind of a long-winded way of saying that we really feel that students, especially FYE students coming in the door, don't have necessarily the work habits to work independently and set up working spaces, but also working focus. Their environments are very leaky. The online world is very leaky. Phones are leaky. Computers are leaky in terms of the distractions that they create for our students. So this idea of creating physical relationships with objects, or physical relationships with mediums, or physical relationships with vessels that hold and contain focus, including iteration and time and collaboration, is really important to help our students develop. And I feel that we should really support this and support that kind of structure within assignments and within their practices. Pods. Yes, pods. Pods are small breakout groups for students to work together on Zoom during workshops and to share images, works, and research. These smaller work groups are more intimate and manageable for both student and faculty during workshop times and in discussions and critiques. Through the Zoom pods, it is vital we connect students to each other through their work. One of the most significant deficits of online visual arts instruction is the loss of students' rich daily direct physical observation of each other's works. So going with the idea that it's students learn as much from each other sometimes is said than they do from us, that learning from each other happens through contact with each other's work. And I feel that we have to really, really bring that into the forefront and keeping students connected to each other through their work, not just socially through discussion and conversation, but actually through the work itself, that the work talks back and forth to each other through the Zoom shared grid or through the Zoom gallery, however you want to describe it. We must promote the frequent and consistent of sharing of work throughout the semester. It is through seeing each other's artworks, our students will truly know each other, engage in diverse viewpoints and visions, benefit from observing shared solutions and strategies, develop openness to content, and form community of shared art making and camaraderie. Photography and video transmitted through Zoom screen sharing or other screen surface expressions is the best way for students and faculty to see artwork. Holding artwork up to the Zoom screen is hard to see and interferes with the image's independent life. Video for 3D sculptural objects and also sketchbook page turning brings both dimensionality and time to these objects. The greater the screen surface stickiness, the better students can get at content in each other's work. So the idea that using their phones, that like use video to look at objects and to share those videos. The idea of sketchbook videos too is a great way to show more extended relationships with sketchbook work. I picked that up from our students posting sketchbook work in portfolio reviews as videos. Really great idea. All right, this diagram is of a single pod Zoom breakout group, shows the progression of the class meeting as a group and then the pod moving through the workshop class day. The long rectangles with parallel lines represent time the students are working at the same time and keeping in contact via Zoom. So this represents students working together with the Zoom open, right? And then working in parallel. So this is actual production workshop time. This can be visual contact or voice only. The smaller squares represent times or breaks to share progress and work. So this is where they stop, post their work to the screen surface, take a photo of it, post it to the grid. They can discuss it or just stop and see each other's work to see what they're doing. What are they working on? How are they doing it? In the same way in the classroom, we would stop and students would walk around and see each other's work. This last square here represents a more extended period of time. This would be a discussion. And then everybody can meet back home again. This diagram has some time options, shows the meet up Zoom grid and the smaller, shorter share times between the work or workshop times. So this is the meeting. This represents like the breakout groups. There would be more people per group. Here's 7 minutes of sharing, 45 minutes of workshop time, 20 minutes more of a critique or a more extended share, more workout time, and then back home. And this can also represent time before lunch break. So after this, usually I run my classes, the majority of the workshop time happens in the first part of class, and lectures and slideshows happen in the second part. Here's a non-workshopping group that meets as a group and then divides into smaller work groups. Then divides into critique groups. Now this is an unsupported independent time, so that could be offset or given more structure by having pods work in independent work either on research or on shared assignments, but not necessarily at the same time on the grid. This is a demonstration heavy work day. my drawing class, I would use this structure for teaching perspective or other demonstration heavy skills. So meet together, demo, right? A real-time demo I would give. Then workshop time, right? Demo, workshop, show work. Let's see what everybody's doing. Demo, workshop, etc. This fancy slide is a mapping of critique times with pods while workshops are going on. So here represents the pods doing workshop time, working, sharing, working, sharing. And this represents the faculty, myself, right? Meeting with these groups at these times, kind of popping in to different times to stop and critique. And these can all be stretched or more limited in time. So just a way of thinking and breaking down the time. All right, I hope these examples and structures may be of use to helping you form your assignments and syllabi for the fall. It's a scary and exciting time, but also one full of opportunity. Please add your thoughts to this work. We are all in this together, and there's so much talent at Micah. Anything is possible. We can definitely do stuff we've never thought of before. Thanks for taking time to look at this. I hope it helps. Be in touch and be well. Thanks.